Hi guys, and welcome back to LPB Racing. This is Season 2 on Project Cars 2. We are doing a replica of the British Touring Car Championship plus the support series. So we're doing the Ginetta Juniors for Race 1, the Clios for Race 2, and the actual touring cars for Race 3. So this first race then, 15 minutes of the Ginetta Juniors. We are at Brands Hatch Indy and we are off. Good start by everyone. Bidzster in Team Blue, along with Keith, and then a few other teams. We'll go through the other teams as we get going, but in towards Paddock Bend. Again, unfortunately, I can't take the playback controls off because they've still not sorted that out yet, but well, we'll soldier on. So everyone through the first corner cleanly up towards Druids. Bidzster in the lead as we look back into the pack. James Deluxe up the inside of one of the Team Yellow cars. I think that's Blakeney, and gets through. We've got Callum and Keith side by side in the background, and RZR being hung out to dry, but he's okay. He's still in 6th place. Good job by everyone there as we go through up towards McLaren and Clearways. Through McLaren, Callum's having a little look, but again just going offline just to make sure that car's visible in the mirrors. As we go through McLaren up towards Clearways, as RZR Blade very close to the back of Blakeney there. As we go out of Clearways across the line, so Bidzster in the lead for Team Blue, Neil Team Green second, Stevie Team White in 3rd position, James Deluxe Independent in 4th. We've got Blakeney for the other car for Team Yellow in 5th. We've got RZR Blade going off. RZR Blade's off his bar all the way back to the back of the field. Amazing, just one mistake and you go all the way to the back. So there we've got Blakeney and Callum for Team Yellow, we've got Keith in Team Blue with Bidzster's teammate, and then we've got RZR Blade, who's Neil Farmack's teammate, at the back after making that mistake in turn 1. Just shows you one mistake can make it all change. So these Ginetta Juniors, again on this track, they will spread out a little bit on this track, but on other tracks they will close up, but it just shows you one mistake at Brands Hatch and you go all the way backwards as we look at Callum there. But we'll just go to the leaders, Neil Farmack and Bidzster, still keeping the same gap. James Deluxe right up the gearbox of Stevie in 3rd place, looking for a move maybe into Paddock Bend, but I don't think he was close enough to do it. No, he's not. So folding behind, Stevie goes a bit wide anyway, but so he might get a better run out of the corner up towards Druids. We've got a couple of cars close in the background as well. Stevie defends the inside from James Deluxe, saying no you don't, sunshine, you've got to find another way through. As we look further back, we've got Keith and TY very close together as well. So TY in the other car for Team White, Stevie's teammate. As two of the Team Yellow cars go quite wide there, and so does Keith. We've got to watch the track limits, boys. But all good so far as we go up through McLaren. There's Keith, who just has a little bit of a twitch going through there up into Clearways. TY behind. Closes up on the exit, he's going to get a good run, but Keith keeps it tight, saying that if you're going to go around me, mate, you have to go around the long way round. Both Team Yellow cars very close together as well, Blakeney and Callum. So no team orders just yet in this season, because we're all fighting for all his individual points. So Keith into Paddock Bend, defends the inside for TY. Blakeney goes off the road. Blakeney goes off the road, his teammate goes straight through, and he might even get past, gets passed by Keith and TY. And joins RZR Blade near the back of the grid. And RZR Blade must have made a few more mistakes because he's about 15 seconds off the leaders now, about 7 seconds off 8th place. So TY, Keith and Blakeney then close together as Keith goes a bit wide there. Keith goes wide as the camera tracks back to him. TY's on the inside, almost contact there as they go into McLaren. Keith has to give way, and he might even end up giving way to Blakeney as well. Blakeney's trying to go around the outside of Keith, and he's going to go wide, cut back in, but no, Keith holds on to the position. Blakeney just ran the car too wide there and therefore had to lift off, and then Keith was able to just keep his foot in it just a little bit and keep the momentum on the inside. So good job there by Keith and Blakeney as they go into Paddock Bend. Blakeney has a little look maybe for a little move as Keith moves across to defend a little bit, but Blakeney's still keeping it up the inside, maybe a little tap there as Blakeney tries to force himself a gap. He's still side by side. Keith comes across and bang, Blakeney straight into the wall. Keith had a slide on there and Blakeney goes into the wall, so we'll get a replay on that. Okay, here's a replay on board with Blakeney on lap 5, what happened between him and Keith. So you see the little tap to Keith there, And Keith keeps going around the outside. Now watch Keith, he goes on the curb, loses back end and comes across, hits Blakeney into the wall. But what gets me is the fact that Keith didn't wait for Blakeney after he did that and didn't let him back through. So Keith will end up with a warning. So as we come back from that replay then, Bidzster's 2 seconds ahead of Neil. Neil's getting caught by Stevie in third place. You see the white car behind him there. Bidzster's pulled out a bit of a gap now. So Bidzster pulling out a gap in that for Team Blue. So again, you can clearly see the cars marked in this championship. They'll all be running the same colours throughout the races. Obviously just adapting to the different car classes and that. As we go up to Druids, again, Neil with a good line through in. Oh, I thought we were going a bit hot into there. Stevie goes even hotter into there, goes quite wide, but then doesn't get a bad line out. James Deluxe just waited in the wings in 4th place. Again, a little bit more spread out in this one, but it's the nature of the Brands Hatch Indy circuit. We are replicating the calendar, so replicating the British Touring Car Championship calendar as much as we can. So we are doing Brands Hatch Indy first, then Donington Park will be the venue for next week's races. But don't forget, we've still got the Clios and the touring car race to go around here yet. So just stay tuned to LPB Racing for those races popping up as we go across the line. So Neil goes across the line there. Let's have a little look further back. There's TY. I would have thought TY to be a bit more further up in this, but his teammate Stevie doing a good job for Team White in 3rd place. There he goes. He's trying to catch Neil up, and James Deluxe is trying to stay with him. So into Druids. Again, one corner where you've got to be really careful not to slide the back of the car out too much. Get a good run down the hill. Bidzster in the lead. And into Grey Mill Bend. Again, you've got to be really careful not to go on that inside curve too much, otherwise you'll find yourself on 2 wheels and going right out onto the grass and doing Brands Hatch a favour and mowing a bit of the lawn. As we look at Blakeney and RZR Blade, they're quite close near the back as well, so Blakeney's had a few offs, look like it as well. So they're both close together. RZR Blade tries to go for the outside, Blakeney defends the inside, going down towards Grey Mill Bend. So lap 7 out of 15 now. So on! Blakeney slows right down on the line. Clearly the car not handling to his liking, and RZR Blade hot on the anchors there to stop that car as they go up to McLaren and Clearways. Through there nicely, RZR Blade carrying a lot of speed through there, almost loses the back end. Got to be careful there not to carry too much speed through, otherwise you will get absolutely crossed up and you will be going into the wall as they come across the line. So let's have a look at our leader then. Here's Bidzster, our leader. Last season's champion. Well, last year, it was not that long ago, but still. Last season's champion, Bidzster for LPB Racing. He's the owner and the person that's talking to you right now. Obviously, I commentate in the 4th person, so I don't refer to myself as like me. I just refer to myself as my name. But still, Bidzster in the lead. Neil in 2nd. There is Team Green. Stevie, Team White with a little bit of a green stripe on, but at least it's majority white. James Deluxe running independent in this one because there's not really a teammate for him yet. We've lost the Belgians from the last season in Project Cars due to work commitments and other such things. So Stevie goes off. Stevie's off. Stevie's off in 3rd, and he's going up the rallycross track now. So he's clearly thinking that he's a rallycross Janetta, and he's not. And TY has to panic his teammate there, and Keith goes off as well in 7th. So Stevie right the way back now. Keith went off as well. I think Keith went off as well. He's lost complete control of the car there. So Stevie makes a mistake, and a few other people try and follow suit. So Blakeney's coming up now to Keith, so Keith's going to have to try and get a move on now. But Stevie goes all the way back to 6th place from 3rd. James Deluxe gets 3rd place on a plate. So there he goes, the independent James Deluxe, hoping to make a full season this season. Joined halfway through last season and quite like what he saw, and he's stayed with LPB Racing, and we hope he will for a long time. So welcome to James Deluxe for a full season. So Bidzster goes through Paddock Hill Bend, sliding that Janetta through. Neil is catching him now, so Bidzster must have made a mistake somewhere because Neil is catching. As Bidzster goes a bit wide there, so it might be just the tyres overheating slightly or something like that, or it could even be the tyres going cold because in this Janetta Junior it goes that slow that the tyres sometimes cool down on you. So Bidzster takes a good line through there, so does Neil. So Bidzster not slowing up too much, but we'll keep an eye on this battle as it unfolds. As we go through McLaren. into clearways. Very hard on the brakes, clearways, especially when we get to the front wheel drive cars later on, because these Ginetta Juniors obviously rear wheel drive, but not that much power, so they're pretty easy to handle, and you can pretty much drive them at the 100% all the way through the race, and that's what makes for sometimes having close racing and sometimes it being quite spread out. But still, that depends on the nature of the track. Hopefully at Donington these cars will be a lot closer than they are here. Just at Brands Hatch there's not really many areas to go wrong, but if you do go wrong you go right to the back, as Keith, Blakeney and RZR have found out, and Stevie, because Stevie's gone back down to 6th place as well. But still the back lot still quite close together, all within a second of each other. So there they are, blue, yellow and green at the back. Callum's in 4th place. He's got TY closing on him slowly, but again Callum not up to his usual dominant fashion that he is on GT Sport in project cars. It's a bit more harder for him to get some pace, but I'm sure he'll get there in time. It's just going to take time to get used to the game, and then he'll be up to speed. Meanwhile, Bidzster still in the lead then, 8/10 from Neil Farmack. So Neil Farmack well within drafting space now. So, but again, you can't really get much draft from these cars because they're only doing about 100 miles an hour when they get to the top of this hill. So not doing that much top end speed, but it's still enough as Bidzster goes a bit wide there, but so does Neil. But Neil looks like Neil got a better run out of the corner though, so Neil again closes up on Bidzster, but again he's got to try and get close enough to make a move. He's only making up a couple of tenths at a time, but then Bidzster in the second half of the lap seems to be counteracting that, so we'll have to see how that unfolds as the race goes on. Meanwhile, here's these three at the back. Keith in 7th, Blakeney 8th, RZR in 9th. Still all running quite close as we go through Paddock Hill Bend. No one makes a mistake this time. Nice and cleanly through. Blakeney slightly closes up on Keith out of that corner. So Team Blue not really liking the first sector very much, but in the last sector they seem to make up the time back as we go down the hill to Graham Hill Bend. Nicely through that corner. Lovely lines there by both. RZR as well, keeping it nice and clean at the back. Finally getting used to this car, but it's a bit late because we're almost near the end of the race now. Lap 12 out of 15, only a handful of laps remaining. Blakeney with a nice line through there. Carries a lot more. Look how much speed he's carrying there to catch up to Keith in front. So Blakeney with a good line through that last sector, and he's well within drafting range, but he'll not get too much of a draft with these cars because they're not much top end speed, so there's not much aero going over the car in order to create that slipstream effect. But Keith defends anyway, just in case Blakeney goes for a lunge, and Blakeney goes wide as a result, so not a bad job there by both. Keith defending well, Blakeney trying to just keep Keith on his toes as we go on to lap 13 out of 15. Meanwhile, the leaders are coming across to start lap 14, so they're almost half a lap in front at this point. So across the line we go. Lap 14, penultimate lap of the race into Paddock Hill Bend. Got to make sure there's no mistakes now, otherwise things could turn on their head. Neil again gets a good run through that first corner. Bidzster not liking that first corner very much compared to Neil. Into Druids. Round Druids we go. Neil Farmack runs a bit wide on the way out, but again not going to hurt too much, not does too much harm. As we look back, we've got Stevie and TY's past his teammates, so TY up to no, sorry, it's in the same order. I thought they'd swap, but no, it's Stevie that's caught up to TY. But again, I don't know if there's going to be any time left to actually make a move as Bidzster and Neil come out of clearways to start the last lap of the race. Neil again closer than he's been, but only a couple of tenths closer, still about half a second in it as we go across the line. One mistake could change the result of the race for Bidzster, but he's just got to make one last lap, make it count. Little dab of the brakes into there just to stabilise the back of the car. Into Druids now. Neil again with that good run. Bidzster having to think on the defensive side now. Into Druids we go. Neil closer than he's ever been. Down towards Graham Hill Bend. Bidzster's just got to hold on, flashing his lights, so he flashed his rear one. So just to say to Neil, I know you're there, you're not getting through. So as we go out of Graham Hill Bend up towards McLaren and Clearways for the last time. One mistake from Bidzster could change this, but if he keeps it as it is, he might be able to just get it. Goes a little bit wide into there. Neil closes up on the brakes. Bidzster goes for a slightly defensive line, but not too much to compromise the exit, and goes out of the corner. I think if he keeps full power on now, he's going to get it. Bidzster looks like he's going to win the first race of the season. He is. Flashed his lights in the light. Bidzster wins race 1 in the Ginetta Juniors. Well done for Bidzster. Neil in second place. Good job by him. James Deluxe is going to come across the line for a good podium in his first outing for the new season. Well done, James Deluxe. Third place. Callum's going to come across the line in fourth. Closely home by Stevie in fifth place. TY's gone back. TY's gone back to 6th place, so Stevie got through on the last lap. Keith and Blakeney, though, close at the line, practically pushing each other. Blakeney looking for that inside. Keith's going to try and fold, and then in contact on the last lap. And round they go. Oh, no, and Razadar Blade's going to come through here. Close. Oh, just about misses both cars. Oh, incredible stuff. So close, and Keith's just going to get the car going in time to finish in 8th place. Blakeney in 9th. So we'll quickly get those replays in from that last lap. Okay, here's a replay of the last lap incident on board with Blakeney now. So we're going into the last corner clear. As you see, we close right up to the back of Keith. We're getting the power movement. We can see that we've got a good run. We go right to the inside, and then there is a gap. And then all of a sudden, Blakeney goes a bit left, Keith goes a bit right, and then contact's made. Don't think that was anyone's fault in particular. And then Razadar Blade comes around the back of us, whoa, and just about misses us. And then we rejoin in 9th place. Here's a replay of that now from Razadar, just to watch the close call, seeing the accident's there. Then Blakeney comes back, and so does Keith at the same time. And literally we crossed the line after hitting the wall, but that was a very close call, that. Okay guys, let's take you through the results then. So Bidzster was the winner of that one, from 0.3 of a second from Neil, so it was a good race between them two. James Deluxe gets 3rd place, Callum in 4th, Stevie finishes in 5th position, TY is in 6th, 7th is Razadar Blade, 8th is Keith, and Blakeney in 9th after their dramatic last lap battle. So that's the results, guys. Lap. So as we come back from that then, Bidzster is the winner of the race. We'll just try and get his car up on screen for you there. There he is in the blue car. That's Bidzster, the winner. So we'll see you guys for race 2 in the Clios. Take care.